Welcome to Cheat Sheet Tales, where secrets slip, lies unravel, and the truth always has a twist. Real stories, raw confessions, shocking betrayals. Drop a comment if you've ever caught a red flag. Too late now, let's get into today's tale. You're saying you can't go on the trip I planned. If you don't come, you're no longer family. It's common sense since you married my son, isn't it? I am, my mother-in-law said to me, seeking agreement from Cody. I halted Cody, who seemed like he wanted to say something, and reluctantly consented to her proposal. Goodness, marrying someone so naive to the world is such a hassle. As long as you understand, if you don't come, it's divorce. I'll re-educate you from now on, she continued with her ridiculous remarks. I was sick of it, but little did I know this would be the last trip with my in-laws. I'm Celine, 32 years old, and I run an app development company. It's still a small venture, but I love my work, and every day is a joy. My husband Marcus is 37, 5 years older than me and works at a bank. Both of us are passionate about our work, often discussing it for hours until the early morning. Marcus is very understanding of my work, and we share household chores. Despite being married for 4 years, we don't have kids yet, but we both like children and hope to have them someday. My family runs an auto parts factory founded by my dad. It's now managed by my brother, which gives me the freedom to pursue my dream of starting my own app company. Even though our industries differ, I often consult with my supportive brother and dad, making my family a significant pillar in my life. Marcus's family runs a small factory, and as an only child, Marcus was expected to take over. However, he chose banking instead, much to his parents' disappointment. There were valid reasons for his decision. Firstly, the factory wasn't thriving, and Terrence, his father, was considering shutting it down. Running a small factory is tough nowadays. As a child, Marcus often heard his father talking with bank employees over the phone. Once, he met a kind and cool banker during a visit to the factory and started accompanying his father to the bank for meetings just to meet him. Eventually, Cody aspired to be a banker, studied hard, and now works at a major bank. Our marriage seems fine on the surface, but it's not going well. Faye doesn't think highly of my job, since I can work remotely. There are days I work from home, but she sees it as a frivolous job and doesn't understand it at all. I get it for an older generation like our parents. My job is hard to grasp. It's not physically demanding, but it's still work. And it can be exhausting. I always adjust my work schedule around the in-laws' plans, so I never inconvenience them. I don't insist on them understanding, but it's frustrating when they think remote work is easy just because I have a flexible schedule. There are other things Vivian disapproves of about us. We built our house when we got married, located about halfway between our parents' homes. Despite taking different routes, it takes less than 30 minutes to reach either house. As a dual-income couple, we manage our spending and savings separately. We value our independence and privacy. Even as a couple, we contribute a fixed amount for living expenses every month, save the rest for the house, and manage our own money otherwise. Vivian disapproves of this lifestyle too. She thinks it's wrong for a couple to talk about privacy. According to her, it's odd for family members to have secrets, and she doesn't consider them a true family. I think because Vivian doesn't like me, she finds fault in everything I do. She adores her son Marcus, so I'm just a nuisance to her. Every time we meet, she makes snide remarks about us not having children yet. It's something I'm sensitive about, and I'd rather not be reminded. Childbearing is a delicate topic, and usually, it's polite to avoid it. But Vivian brings it up every time, so I've started to avoid her. To not worry Cody, I have been staying late at work on purpose to avoid meeting her. Vivian has done many other surprising things, but there was one incident I couldn't forgive. It happened on the day of my best friend's wedding. After her wedding, my friend was moving abroad, and we wouldn't be able to meet as often since we both work. I was really looking forward to celebrating her big day. However, a week before the wedding, Amy came to me with a request. He had an important business reception and wanted me there. I naturally refused. The only thing more important than my friend's wedding would be a parent on their deathbed. That night, something unexpected happened. When I got home from work, my in-laws were at our house. As soon as she saw me, Vivian confronted me angrily. Celine, what are you thinking? Refusing Terrence's request is outrageous. You're my son's wife. It's only natural to prioritize family obligations. Your refusal is unacceptable. You need to rethink your priorities. She yelled at me. Marcus was there, too, but he said nothing. After asking, I found out the reception was critical for the future of the company. But to me, my best friend's wedding was just as important. I told Vivian, I understand what you both are saying, but my best friend's wedding is an important event for me, and I don't want to miss it. Besides, I'm not even an employee of Terrence's company. As I said this, even Marcus chimed in. Can't you make an exception this time? This is really about the survival of the company. I'm going to, and it's a family effort. We can make it up to you for missing the wedding. It's a family crisis, can't you help us? I was shocked. I never thought Marcus would say such a thing. He knew how much I was looking forward to the wedding. Then Terrence spoke. I understood Selena's point, but this time we really needed her help. The atmosphere made it hard for me to refuse. It wasn't just any reception. In the end, I reluctantly agreed to skip my best friend's wedding. I told my friend the truth and explained why I couldn't come. Given that I had previously talked to my best friend about my family situation, she understood my predicament. In fact, she was more concerned about me. I'm fortunate to have such a kind friend. I felt guilty for missing her big day, but once the decision was made, I had to focus on making the reception a success. On the day of the event, Marcus and I arrived at the venue early and tried to contact Vivian. However, for some reason, Vivian didn't answer her phone. As I worried about what to do, the in-laws finally arrived at the venue, just 10 minutes before it was set to start. To my surprise, they were in a disheveled state with messy hair and their suits and shirts all wrinkled. I was shocked and asked Vivian, what happened? What's with your shirt? Today is an important reception, right? She awkwardly responded, I just overslept. Celine, make sure you're not rude. I was so close to snapping back with, I don't want to hear that from you. But somehow, I managed to hold back. I really want to give myself credit for keeping my composure during the reception. Vivian, not knowing how to converse properly, made a series of rude comments to our guests. It seemed she meant them as jokes. But their strange smiles made it clear they weren't received well, as expected. We didn't secure the contract, and the reception ended without success. I thought to myself that it was to be expected. If I had known it would be like this, I would have preferred to go to my best friend's wedding. I was infuriated at being dragged into such a disastrous reception, ruining my plans and causing issues with the in-dash laws. To my dismay, they didn't acknowledge any wrongdoing. According to them, after such a lavish reception, with no contract, it's almost like dealing with con artists. Good thing we didn't make a deal with such strange people. I was speechless with astonishment. How can they be so blissfully unaware? After this incident, I became even more uncomfortable with my in-laws and started avoiding them, but unfortunately, there's something I can't avoid. Marcus's family has a tradition of going on a family trip every year since his childhood, and it has continued even after we got married. Since our marriage, I've been expected to join these trips, but I'm always stuck with the chores. Driving, arranging hotels, booking, researching tourist spots. All these tedious tasks are my responsibility, and if I dare to voice my opinion, I'm immediately shut down with, don't overstep. Even when we visit tourist spots, I'm often left to stay in the room, ever getting to visit places I like. Honestly, I dread these annual family trips and always hope I might fall ill on the day. Now this year's trip season has arrived. Despite their claims of being financially tight, my in-laws insist on a lavish trip as usual. I was tasked with finding the hotel. I plan meticulously to keep Vivian, who is always complaining, in a good mood. Since I'm the only one who doesn't drink, I'm the default driver. But I don't mind, as it spares me from their conversations. However, a crisis occurred just before the trip. I received news that my mom had collapsed and was in critical condition. In such a situation, going on a trip, even a short one, was out of the question. I lost my composure, thinking I needed to see my mom as soon as possible. It was the day before the trip, so I decided to cancel and started preparing to go to the hospital. Cody offered to come to the hospital with me, but I refused. I felt like he was implying my mom wouldn't make it, which I didn't want to hear. When Marcus and I went to tell Vivian we couldn't join the trip, she exploded in anger. You're saying you can't go on the trip I planned? If you don't come, you're no longer family. As my son's wife, it's common sense to prioritize the family trip, right? Right, Cody, Vivian said, seeking agreement from Cody. I interrupted Cody, who looked like he wanted to say something, as if to say she wouldn't entertain any opposing opinions. In that situation, I was so dumbfounded that I couldn't find the words to speak. Nothing could be more important than being with my mom in her critical condition. Just as I was about to respond, my brother called. It seems mom's condition is serious but a bit stable. I expressed my desire to rush to her, but he said visiting is impossible right now due to a contagious disease outbreak. He mentioned that if she recovers, we could arrange a short visit later, so there was no point in coming immediately. Hearing this, I hesitated about what to do. Noticing my indecision, my brother asked what was wrong. I honestly explained the situation about the trip and my current dilemma to my brother. A bit angry, he made a good suggestion I hadn't thought of in my distress. The trip destination was near my parents' home. He assured me that I could quickly get to my family's house from the hotel if needed, and there shouldn't be any problem. Indeed, that's true. If I can't visit the hospital, staying at home or at the hotel doesn't make much difference. Accepting my brother's suggestion, I told Vivian, "All right, I'll go on the trip." Vivian responded, "Goodness, if you had said that from the start, I wouldn't have had to get angry. It's hard to marry someone so naive. As long as you understand, if you don't come, it's divorce. Honestly, I'll have to re-educate you from now on." Cody looked surprised, but we agreed to go, on the condition that I could leave for the hospital, if needed. He remarked, "It would be trouble if our driver suddenly disappeared, right? Oh good. You're part of this family now, so our needs come first. Remember your role as my son's wife. This is a major event. The family trip should be your top priority." Her triumphant attitude and obvious excitement really irked me. But to avoid further trouble, I decided to endure it. On the day of the trip, I was so worried about Mom that I couldn't put down my phone. Yet Vivian was drinking beer from the morning. The back seat of my car, which I was driving, turned into a party scene. I was surprised to see Marcus joining in the drinking. However, this was a trip for which everyone had rearranged their schedules. I told myself that it would be nice if everyone could enjoy the trip, since we had all made the effort to come. During the trip, E's whims were relentless, demands to stop for the bathroom immediately, or to go to the grocery store for more alcohol. I felt like a servant, but I was prepared to endure such things. That's when my mobile phone rang. It was a call from my brother, thankfully informing me that Mom had survived. Her condition had stabilized, and she had regained consciousness. The diagnosis was subpneumonia hemorrhage. However, I couldn't be completely at ease yet. There were concerns about potential aftereffects. It was reassuring to have my brother keeping me updated. As I was feeling anxious, when I shared the news of Mom's recovery with my in-laws, Vivian commented, "If she's better, there's no need to bother us with such news. You're making a big deal out of nothing." And then Terrence added, "Exactly. No need to spoil our trip with such grim news. We're supposed to be enjoying ourselves." I was disgusted that Terrence shared E's view and didn't want to think of these people as my family. During the trip, they made a ruckus in the hotel, drinking and partying, which was truly embarrassing. This incident deepened my distrust of my in-laws. Thankfully, Mom's condition remained stable, and there was no need to rush to the hospital, allowing us to complete the trip and return home. I was relieved. While I was sorting out the laundry, Vivian came to our house. Wondering what it could be this time, she said, "You have a dryer at your house, right? We don't have one, so let me use it," and showed up with loads of laundry. I was exasperated and replied, "There's a laundromat with dryers. I have a load of laundry of my own, and I'm using it right now, so it's not possible." To which she retorted, "Always so stingy. Once you're done, it's fine. I'll come to pick it up tomorrow. Leave it finished by then." And attempted to leave her laundry in our washroom. I stepped in. "Go to a laundromat. Celine is tired, and she has to work tomorrow. It's not possible." Vivian got angry, feeling her son was defending me. She left in a hurry, spewing insults and slamming the door, leaving the laundry behind. In hindsight, if things had been different that day, maybe the course of events would have changed. Later, Vivian returned and said, "During the trip I realized something. Celine, you lack awareness of being married to Cody. We might face similar situations in the future. Since we couldn't discuss it, I've decided that Celine should make a decision." She put a family contract and divorce papers on the table. I was speechless. What even is a family contract? It was ridiculous and confirmed my belief that she can't have a normal conversation. The saving grace was Cody's reaction. He said, "I have something to say. If you keep imposing your biased views on us, I'll cut ties. I can't deal with this anymore." What do you think, Celine? She's not your servant or housekeeper. You're the one who's mistaken about your position. Vivian was stunned. Until now, Marcus had hardly ever opposed anything. It wasn't because he agreed with I's ideas, but rather he kept quiet to avoid the hassle. Following Marcus's words, E's anger turned towards me. You've changed Marcus since marrying him. He used to be so sweet. It's crazy for him to talk to me like that. You must have brainwashed him. Turn him back to the old Marcus, she accused, confronting me. She believed I had supposedly brainwashed Marcus into defying her. But then Marcus spoke up for me. The one doing the brainwashing is you, right? Always going on a rampage without listening to anyone's opinion. Frankly, you're a toxic parent. You never let me do what I wanted to after getting married. Instead of calming down, you started spewing your venom at Enough is enough. I'm not going to divorce. And if you have a problem, you should stay out of our lives, Marcus said. Hearing this, Vivian turned to Terrence, who was with her, and burst into tears. Terrence responded, if that's what Marcus thinks, then fine. We'll cut ties. Do whatever you want. And stormed out. I was surprised, but happy that Marcus stood up for us like that. Feeling frustrated, I told my brother about this. He became furious, saying he couldn't stay silent if they were acting this way. He decided to take action. It led to a tragedy in the in-laws family. Turns out, my brother's company was a client of my in-laws' company. We had kept our family's company name a secret to avoid creating a power imbalance. The in-laws had no idea they were dealing with my family's company. But with things as they were, we couldn't continue like this. Though I have been patient, avoiding mixing business and personal matters. It had reached its limit. My brother had been having issues with them not meeting deadlines. You can't cherish those who don't cherish you, he said. I discussed it with Marcus before talking to the in-laws, and he agreed. Marcus also said he had had enough. My brother ended the contract with the in-laws company. It was a business decision. They had been a problematic company, not paying on time and missing deadlines, but we had tolerated it because it was Cott's family's business. There was no longer a need for that. Later, when my in-laws found out about this, they came to us in tears. Now they're constantly apologizing. They pleaded with my brother to reconsider the contract, but of course, that was impossible. It was their responsibility for not meeting deadlines. They should have been grateful for our patience. Marcus explained everything to his parents, but they refused to accept it and ended up cutting ties in a rage. Marcus wasn't sad. He felt relieved. He had been torn and tired, struggling between us and his family. Since then, we've been living peacefully. I learned that Marcus had been supporting his family financially, but he stopped that now. The in-laws factory went bankrupt. Even without this incident, it was on the brink of closure, drowning in debt. I heard that Marcus had been paying for those annual trips, and it's astonishing how they could behave that way, using someone else's money. Now the in-laws are living modestly, and Vivian has recently started working. I was honestly surprised to see her, who used to call herself a president's wife, working. One day, I saw Vivian being scolded while doing a cleaning job. I felt bad for thinking this was karma. She learned the harsh realities of society, and hopefully straighten out. As for us, work is going well. We haven't had children yet, but we enjoy our jobs, and life is fulfilling. We're planning an overseas trip for our next vacation. For a while, we're thinking of enjoying life without